folks, this is indeed an old Hohner guitar, and this is the sort of thing that you find in charity shops and used on eBay going for, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 pounds maybe a bit more. And it's an old probably 50s 60s model. It says model number, but there's no number after it on the inside. Made exclusively for Hohner International. Hohner started out principally making harmonicas, accordions, things like that, and then got into the guitar business. Lasted quite a while, and recently just got back out of the business. And I've had Hohners on my channel before, but they've always been fairly new productions. This is one of the older ones, no doubt. A ply top, ply body, very basic spruce ply top, smaller bodied acoustic, and mahogany back and sides. It is quite cheap, you can tell firstly by the tuners, which are sort of these three in a line. You see these on a lot of old style guitars with the sort of plasticky sort of tuner heads there. Another giveaway is this steel reinforced neck sticker in there, which is not a truss rod cover, by the way. That's just a sticker telling you that it is steel enforced, but there's no adjustment. And you can also see on this guitar, hopefully the light will pick it up, that this is a painted fretboard, so it is not ebony or rosewood or anything like that. It's a lesser wood, and it's got a paint on it, and you can see it coming away on the edges there. A lot of times down the cowboy chord part of the guitar, you'll see it wearing away. This one, not so much, but there are telltale signs that it's painted, and probably the edges as well. The binding is not real, it's painted on. You can see in the back there the chips in the paint on the back, and you can see there here, this is not a separate piece of wood, this is just a laminate that's glued on. The whole back with the heel on there is one piece of wood, and also you can see it's got one of these old style adjustable bridges. Now this guitar actually sounds pretty good. I've got it, those of you who are savvy probably heard that I have it in sort of an open tuning here, and the reason being is the action on this guitar is dreadful. And those of you who've picked up lots of thrift store charity shop guitars over the years will have run into this before. It's got this adjustable bridge on it. There's nothing left on that saddle, nothing. You cannot take it down anymore. It's completely bottomed out. And then if you look at the action here, you'll see it's way too high. It's uncomfortable to play. The guitar is slightly warped. So what this needs is what it's not going to get, and that is a neck reset. It really needs a neck reset to be playable. However, it is nowhere near worth the money to do that kind of repair on. A neck reset being one of the most serious and expensive types of repair that you can get done or even do yourself. It's quite labor intensive, and you shouldn't attempt it unless you have some good know-how or you've practiced on a lot of substandard guitars. This one would be a good candidate for practicing on. So therefore the action's not going to be really able to improve. Things that you can do on these types of guitars is, number one, you can shave down the bridge top a little bit, take the screws out, try to take this down, plane it down a little bit. It'll look terrible because this is a plasticky type bridge, but you could remove some meat from the top of the bridge to give you more saddle room on the under the strings there. Another thing you do, you could try to heat and clamp the neck and see if you can put more bow in to take some of the bow out of it. I've had mixed results with that. Sometimes it works okay, other times it doesn't do anything, or the memory in the wood just reverts back to where it was after a couple of days. And my favorite remedy for a guitar like this is to simply make a slide guitar out of it. I didn't bring the brass slide out here with me, but I've been noodling with it. You whack this into open tuning, and you can do quite a bit of good slide guitar because the action's just slightly too hard for conventional playing. You'll never play anything intricate on this guitar, but you can put it in open tuning and slide around on it for sure. Another thing I see people do as well is play around with the gauges of strings to maybe improve the action or to lessen the tension on this guitar. For me, this is not really worth doing anything drastic on, because even if you fix this guitar and made the action playable, you still wouldn't increase the value by very much. In the condition it's in now, I'd say it's probably worth somewhere between 40 and 60 pounds, if that, probably equivalent in dollars. And if you set it up, you might have an 80-90 pound guitar. So you're not really gaining a lot of value by fixing it, unless you like the sound of it and you want to play it, which obviously there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. So these type of old guitars without the truss rod in them, very substandard materials, often painted fretboards. It's got the ugly brass frets, the type that are really sharp on the fret ends. Adjustable saddle that's completely bottomed out. Painted everything on it. There's not really any binding or anything on the guitar that's shows high craftsmanship at all. They really did just pound a lot of these out. A lot of companies did as well back in the day, and they're good beach guitars, they're good campfire guitars, and nothing more than that. And sometimes you can get lucky and find these in decent playing condition, but a lot of times you find them and they're just like this or worse. I've literally seen them almost like a violin or a cello action on them, to where you have a raised bridge and the strings are this far apart off the neck, and there's really not much you can do about it because there's just nothing to work with in terms of the physics of the guitar without radically altering the shape or the angle of the neck. So yeah, this is something you run into a lot if you're shopping for older used guitars or looking for bargain guitars in the types of places where you find them. I found a lot of stuff like this in flea markets, thrift shops, charity shops here in the UK. In the US, you find them in various places, including pawn shops. I've come across a lot of guitars in this condition in a pawn shop that just need a neck reset and are never going to get one because they're not worth that kind of investment or even that kind of time. But it's a shame. It's a decent guitar, but I reckon I could just about get away with. I might get a couple of millimeters off the saddle somehow. Maybe I can take some meat off the bridge and make it just about playable for a beginner, or just keep it as a slide guitar, or somebody might fancy it as a slide guitar. It's got a nice full tone for a laminate. It's actually got some nice full bass tone. Surprisingly, it sounds rather nice and full, particularly for this particular shape of guitar as well. It's not a big guitar, sort of a concert model, if you like. But anyway, yeah, this is an old Hohner, probably 50s, 60s, 70s vintage. It's possibly Japanese. Let me see if it says in there. Taiwan. It's made in Taiwan. So it might not actually be as old as I first thought, because I think the instrument started to take off in Taiwan, Singapore, Indonesia in the mid to late 80s. With it being made in Taiwan, it might actually be from that decade, although I thought we'd got past the adjustable bridge by then, but maybe not. Maybe there's somebody in the comments that can fill me in on information with that. When did this fall out of vogue? This style bridge, these adjustable bridges. Was it as late as the mid to late 80s, or was it earlier than that? Somebody tell me. But anyway, not going to throw it away. I'll find a use for it and find a home for it. Okay, folks, see you on the next one.